Alright, let's talk about some sand. So desert levels never really have been my shtick. It's just like, woo, sand? For that reason alone, I never really liked the Peacekeepers worlds that much. They are my least favorite set of worlds in the game. Not to say it's completely awful, the militaristic soldiers in its hub are pretty unique, using cannons against you while you attack the teeny tiny small enemies. And this world is also where the infamous Nork booty comes from. Just look at all those flat polygons. And even in Reignited, look at that barely ass. One good point to talk about is that look how the purple goop complements the brown. It more so pops in Reignited than in the original, but it still manages to make both versions look pretty nice. There is also a skill point if you scare a certain number of Norks into the huts. It's really easy, just kill one and the rest will get scared. Reignited makes everything look a lot nicer just because the art style is absolute bliss. But even so, it doesn't save Peacekeepers from being my least favorite set of worlds. What does help is the dragons though. So, a lot of people say that Spyro only uses a few models for the original dragons and just swaps them out with color and size. I can see why people think that, but it's not exactly true. The Peacekeepers dragons are typically bigger, like Titan, but with spots and more prominent horns. Titan in Reignited, however, is 100% beefcake. I love the blend they did with the purple and orange colors for his skin and clothes, and notice the badges on his chest. He is the leader of the Peacekeeper dragons, and this little detail may show his superiority a little bit. He has a big scar around his chest or belly area, and his weapon of choice is the classic axe. Titan sets you up on what you should do to continue to the next set of worlds. Collect treasure. Also, the last little detail, he got into an at-ease position right before he disappears. A sign of respect.
Welcome to Peacekeepers, Spyro. Look how our treasure has been turned against us and stolen. Recover our treasure, Spyro.
Collect treasure. Got it.
Welcome to Peacekeepers. Look how our treasure has been stolen and turned against us. Please, recover our treasure, Spyro.
Collect treasure. Got it.
Magnus once again says, "Hey, feed Sparks, he's hungry." But his design, man, woo! I thought Argus was a big boy, just look at Magnus. In the original, he's tall, gray, and a little big. But in Reignited, they made him a big boy. They even made him pick up his fat old belly. Oh my god. Just look at his super cool wings, necklace, and those thick ass horns.
Hi, Spyro! Sparks the Dragonfly has been doing a good job protecting you. Make sure to keep him strong by feeding him lots of butterflies.
Hey, Spyro. Sparks the Dragonfly has been doing a good job protecting you. Make sure to keep him strong by feeding him lots of butterflies.
So ironically, Gunnar doesn't use a gun. I'm surprised Reignited didn't censor his name to just Ner. Anyway, Gunnar is pretty neat. He tells you about some destiny, and when you question him, he immediately just goes, "Hey kid, what did Titan just tell you to do? Go do it." In the original, he's another dragon that prefers walking on all fours, and his coloring is a nice swamp green. Reignited kept that swamp green and added a mohawk and some teeth. He doesn't even need a weapon, all he needs is those teeth to scare me. Also, a rare example of me liking the original takes over the new ones. Gunnar's old voice is just so much more intimidating. Just enough to shut Spyro right up.
Well done, Spyro! Keep up the good work and I know you'll fulfill your destiny.
Destiny? I just want to kick some...
Just toast those enemies and collect the treasure!
Well done, Spyro. Keep up the good work, and I know you'll fulfill your destiny.
Destiny? I just want to kick some.
Just toast those enemies and collect the treasure.
I'm just gonna say that this is my opinion, but I am not a big fan of the Peacekeeper song. I know it's supposed to sound a bit militaristic, but I just feel like it's obnoxious. I think the reignited version is better because it seems like they added a lot more instruments to make the song more varied. Don't hate me, it's just my opinion. So just like the Peacekeepers hub, Dry Canyon kinda suffers the same problems. Some people may love the desert aesthetic, I just find it boring. Reignited helps a little bit by literally shedding some light on the situation. They made the stage brighter. Just like the hub, you gotta love that purple ooze that's barely in the stage. I really hate having negative things to say about a stage without just as many positives, so I won't. Let's start the dragons with no, I'm kidding. I have to explain why this is the weakest stage in Peacekeepers. So this whole stage is like this open area with many places to go at once. Normally, this is fine, because most stages loop back to certain points. There is a hidden key in the stage somewhere that is only found by taking a leap of faith to the right of some cliff. If you like 100% in games like me, then most likely on a first run you may look up this key. Sure, you can see it from another part of the stage, but it's hard to work around and find how you get there. And let's say you get to that lock chest and you go, hey, I must have missed it in the other direction. So you look and it's nowhere to be found. It's just frustrating. Okay, my rant about this stage is over. Think of something nice to say, something nice. Oh, so the enemy designs are funny with the big guy slamming a vulture in the ground. Oh, in this cave, it's pretty nice, pretty. Conan is the second case of thank you for releasing me syndrome. It's quite a deadly disease that multiple dragons have caught. Reignited does not change his dialogue, but makes them all confused as to what's happening, which is great. Conan goes from being this nice orange array of pixels to this sophisticated soldier. Just look at the nobility and respect he shows you for rescuing him. He has a shield with what appears to be an egg on it, and a spear that has little spikes on the side. This was such an insignificant dragon, yet that made him look just as good as all the others.
Thank you for releasing me.
What? Huh? Oh. Thank you for releasing me, Spyro.
Boris is also a wonderful dragon. He doesn't really tell you anything, but he does get a good reaction from both versions of Spyro after being questioned if Spyro was a good glider. So, is it just me, or is Boris not proportioned correctly in the original? He does look very distinct being the buff boy that he is. He's probably taken some steroids, but his head looks ridiculously small. Reignited made him just as buff, just took away half a horn. I'll take small horn over small head any day. He has a whip and a choker on, which I don't want to know why that is. Let's just hope it's his preferred weapon in combat. I have no guess as to what the bell is for though. That's just weird.
Dry Canyon rewards good gliders. You are a good glider, eh, Spyro?
I was born to glide.
Dry Canyon rewards good gliders. You are a good glider, eh, Spyro?
I was born to glide.
Maximos is probably the most important dragon in the entire game. He doesn't just give you game tips, he tells you how to perfectly cook and season a vulture, and it is the easiest thing you'll ever do. I even love how he ends his sentence in both versions. In the original, he seems like he can imagine this meal, while in Reignited he might actually make a meal out of them. He speaks with a delicacy only known to food critics. His OG design sports that good old cheetah print, while Reignited's design beefs him up. Boom, there's a scar. Boom, there's an axe. I can't tell what's on his back, and he has a neck so thick that I don't think he needs to swallow anymore.
Incredible glide, Spyro. I thought I'd be stuck here forever with those ugly vultures standing on my head. Those birds might look tough, but they're pretty tasty. Flame broiled, with a pinch of salt.
Incredible glide, Spyro. I thought I'd be stuck here forever with those ugly vultures standing on my head. Those birds might look tough, but they're pretty tasty. Flame broiled with a pinch of salt.
I'm pretty sure that this is the first old dragon that Spyro does not try to run to the hills yodeling from. He just says ever since Spyro was a, little puppy smoke, that they talked about him. Immediately forgets what he was trying to say and fucks right off. Bonus points on Reignited for having him accidentally light the fuse on his bomb. Speaking of which, the original has him as this old kind of purple dragon that has wings so strong he can itch his face with them. While the Reignited version is lacking the face itchage, he does sport some badges like Titan, a flight helmet, and of course, the bomb.
Is that you, Spyro? Are you the young dragon I've been hearing so much about? Ever since you're a wee puff of smoke, we've known,
You've known?
I forget.
Is that you, Spyro? Are you the young dragon I've been hearing so much about? Ever since you were a wee puff of smoke, we've known,
You've known...
I forget.
My favorite thing about Dry Canyon is its music. It's not really calming, but it's not really intense. It has this nice middle ground where it just sounds nice. Oh god, I'm sorry, I don't know music. God. I do, however, prefer the reignited version. The instruments they use just fit better in my opinion. Clifftown is leagues better than Dry Canyon. And no, it's not just because the gods bestowed his kiss on the background of the reignited version. No, it's in the way that the level is structured. First things first, I want to talk about the enemies. There's a fat lady who doesn't hurt you, just kind of more smacks you around. More vultures like in Dry Canyon. And metal-plated guys with knives that sometimes get thrown at you. All easy to take care of. So instead of backtracking a stage to take an alternate route like Dry Canyon, once you go high up on the map, the game puts a convenient vortex in two vital spots, making exploring the stage an absolute joy. I no longer need to climb that building every time I want to go up. I can just do it once and the game does it for me? Sweet! Convenience is the name of the stage. Well, no, it's Town Square, but still. The last thing you want to do is burden the player with a multiple choice question where every answer is wrong, just like Dry Canyon. That was a bad analogy, but whatever. I'm done playing up the stage by breaking down my feelings of Dry Canyon. Moving on to the dragons. So, this is Spyro's bad here. He has dealt with enemies with metal armor before, but Halvor is none the wiser and alas, falls victim to Spyro's naivete. He doesn't even poke fun at Spyro for forgetting. In the original, he's a spotted purple dragon, which kinda looks cool admittedly. Halvor also prefers 4 legs in the OG, something the remakes seem to lack. Reignited has Halvor keep the color palette, but adds a giant hammer. I wonder what would win in the Guinness World Record of oversized weapons for a dragon, Titan's axe or Halvor's hammer. Halvor also has these scales all over his face and body that make him look very unique. Lastly, he has the best protection you can have on a battlefield. Groin protection.
How's a dragon supposed to flame metal armor anyway?
Remember, Spyro, flame won't harm metal, but charging with your horns, that should do the trick.
How's a dragon supposed to flame metal armor anyway?
Remember, Spyro, flame won't work on metal, but charging with your horns, that should do the trick.
Enzo is probably the realest dragon there is. He does not mess around. When asked, hey, what's over there? He responds with, go look yourself. He doesn't want to spoil the oncoming onslaught of vultures awaiting you. He wants to watch you at your best, face a multitude of annoying enemies, and overcome the challenge ahead. So the original has him as this buff pink dragon, which, you know, alright, nothing manlier than pink, right? Reignited keeps the manly pink and adds some beef. Not as in muscle, as in tummy. I know he's holding a club, but he's really hoping for a club sandwich, if you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta give props on the wings and the hair. The green tips just pop off the pink nicely.
Hey, what's on the other side of that river?
Why don't you glide there and find out?
Hey, what's on the other side of that river?
Why don't you glide there and find out?
What? Marco sent you here. I've got a restraining order against him.
Marco is a case of me liking a dragon in the original and losing all charm in Reignited. I mean, he's fine, but the way Marco whispers everything he says makes him sound kinda sly and sneaky. Instead, in Reignited, he's just saying it to tell you. All he says is, hey, you're higher than anyone else right now. And hey, the game triggered a vortex for you for getting me. Thank you, I'll be here all minute. The OG makes him even look sneaky in the way he ducks and subtly points. It's more of a, I would use that vortex there, instead of, I would use that vortex over there. For Reignited, he has a pretty good redesign. If anything, he reminds me more of a guard than someone off to war. Although I will say, I love the green of his hair and the gem on his axe, as well as those metal wings. They just look so cool and unique. This man lost his wings in a fight, and that's pretty impressive. I mean, shitty and terrible, but impressive.
You've reached the highest point in Clifftown. You can get to almost anywhere from here. If I were you, I'd use that whirlwind there.
You've reached the highest point in Clifftown. You can get to almost anywhere from here. If I were you, I'd use that whirlwind over there.
So again, I'm no music critic, as you all have probably figured out at this point, but the Reignited version of the song is a lot worse, right? Like, the original is a pretty good song, but the Reignited version just sounds derp. I have no other words, just listen. Ice Cavern is one of the greatest stages in the game. First of all, the aesthetic of Ice Cavern is just gorgeous. My favorite type of worlds in any game are snow worlds, so immediately I'll like this one, even if it isn't a traditional snowy world. But the stage design itself is just... Okay, so the problem with Dry Canyon was the leap of faith key and how it's hard to work through how to get it. But Ice Cavern has the key literally in view of the chest it's used for, and as long as you take the first tunnel to the left, it will perfectly loop you around with very little backtracking. Then, after you get the chest, you have 2 ways to go. If you take the way right next to the portal, you'll immediately get dead-ended. So the only other option is jumping up the stairs and going around. Again, almost no backtracking. And that's if you decide to do the pathway next to the exit portal first. If you jump up the stairs before that, there's no backtracking and you could just leave the world. The enemies are pretty nice too. You have a big one in snow gear that you flame, a small Nork on skis that throws snowballs at you, and lastly, a Nork that you can't kill with either charge or flame. This is the first time we see an enemy that you have to use the environment to kill. In this case, they have metal feet, so they slide around and you just have to slide them off the stage. God, I wish all stages were as beautiful as Ice Cavern. What's more beautiful is the dragons. Ulrich once again states that big enemies not chargeable. I kinda wish some dragons had a more diverse dialogue set, like just general humor instead of another tutorial we've already had. His cocky personality is pretty charming though. And once again, friends, we got that man color right there. Wow, what a man. He's buff and pink and looks exactly like a lot of other Peacekeeper dragons. In Reignited, however, the compensation is unholy. He's got a tiny sword, tiny wings, a tiny shield, and an even tinier shield on his tail. It just amuses me that in this hub of giant weapons, this guy carries the smallest out of anyone. What a legend.
A word of caution, little one. Wait until you grow big, like me, before charging those large enemies.
Hi, Spyro.
A word of caution, little one. Wait until you grow big, like me, before charging those large enemies.
Finally, a dragon that gives you good advice. There are big Norks that are also wearing armor, so they won't die by being charged or flamed like I said before. But knowing that you could turn them into the first Nork slip and slide gives you a clear way to defeat them before ever encountering one. In the original, he's just generic Peacekeepers guy, but in Reignited, he is oh so beautiful. Everything from being the only dragon to look warm in this cave, to his unique bow making him literally the only dragon that has a long range advantage, and his beautiful feathery wings. Some dragons have these bird-like wings, and I wonder if there's a story on why that is, but it definitely makes Todor stand out and make him one of my favorite dragons in Reignited.
Spyro! Some big Norks up ahead are wearing armor, and in the ice cave, armor can make their feet very slippery.
Spyro, some big Norks up ahead are wearing armor, and in the ice cave, armor can make their feet very slippery.
Andor is thank you for releasing me dragon number 3. Nothing is different about him in Reignited, except his design. The dialogue is exactly the same. I like his bluish colors in the original, but Reignited's version is okay. He's kinda got a derp face. I love his colors though. I love the gold of his belly, tail, necklace, and horns popping off the blue of his skin and inner wings. It's just gorgeous. And my god, look at that tail. So fluffy. I could just sleep on it? God, I'm so freaking weird. Moving on.
Thank you for releasing me.
for releasing me.
What a momentous occasion that two "Thank you for releasing me" dragons are in the same world, Andor and Asher. Reused voice clips and all. Reignited changes this line to "freeing me" and makes them all confused. A welcome change if you ask me. All I have to say for the original design is that I love the dark blue for his wings. There isn't much to his reignited design. He's got that typical old dragon look. A cane, a beard, some beads, and my god, look at those horns. Those, I think, are the thickest horns I've seen in the whole game. Maybe that's what he used to fight back in the No more speculation. We're done here.
Thank you for releasing me.
Thanks for freeing me, Spyro. And now, where was I?
See, I wish more dragons were like Ragnar. He isn't used as a tutorial, just a fun little character interaction. Just talking about Spyro being ready for something that Spyro has no idea about. It seems like most of these Ice Cavern dragons have bare bellies in the original. Now that I've noticed that, I kinda like them more. Rieg Ragnar has armor galore, even covering parts of his wings. He's got spikes coming out of his face and a weapon that I can't quite tell what it is. If anyone knows, that'd be great. Just tell me because I can't get a good look.
You've done well, Spyro. Some dragons thought you weren't ready, but I knew they were wrong.
I'm ready, all right. Ready for what?
You've done well, Spyro. Some dragons thought you weren't ready, but I knew they were wrong.
I'm ready, all right. Ready for what?
Both versions of this song are great. I just have to give it to the original on this one. The OG feels a bit more full in my opinion. Like Reignited is missing something that I can't quite put my finger on. Plus, instrument choice is a lot better sounding for the original version. It's my second favorite song in the game, and for good reason. Dr. Shemp really stands out because of its background. The eclipse really adds to the atmosphere of the stage and hypes you up for what's to come. Other than that, hey look, another brown stage. It has this nifty rock that you always look like you could just barely make. It reuses the fat enemy that slaps you in town square, but adds these weird voodoo guys that get slapped towards you and just kind of fall off the stage. Dr. Shemp himself is harder than Toasty, but still really easy. You just wait for him to attack, which in Reignited is easier to tell because his glasses have a glint of light. Then after his attack, you get behind him and whack that bubbly ass. Repeat 3 times and he's done. There's also this chest right under the exit portal, so I highly recommend just exiting the stage after getting that and not wasting your time going all the way around again. Dr. Shemp is nothing special, but at least it's the last real Peacekeeper's world. Trondo gives you the hint about the boss in the bitchiest way possible. He's just so sick of hearing about how great this guy thinks he is. We've all been there. In the original, he just looks meh, okay, but in Reignited he might be one of my favorite designs. He has kunai all up his sleeve, he's holding a really big and really cool knife, he has unique curved horns, hair and a hat, along with scars all over his arm and the top part of his inner wing missing. He even has bandages over his hands. Maybe an injury in combat did that to him. I don't know, but you can clearly tell this man has been through hell and has the battle scars of a true warrior.
This guy thinks he's so cool. You don't know what it's been like listening to him over and over. But I'll tell you one thing. He should watch his back.
Dr. Shemp thinks he's so cool. You don't know what it's been like listening to him over and over. But I tell you one thing, he should watch his back.
The music for Dr. Shemp is pretty great, but both versions are a little different. The original takes a hardcore approach, starting you off high-paced. It just wants to hype you up for the boss incoming. Like, yeah, this shit's gonna be intense. Whereas the Reignited sombers it up in the beginning before kicking it up to hype. Because of instrument choice and a softer start, I think Reignited version can take this one. But it's just my opinion. Listen, I'm hiding behind my pillow fort right now. You can't get to me. My opinion is mine. Don't be mad. I way prefer Night Flight over Sunny Flight. It feels like more of a place where dragons would actually go practice flying. It's a collection of giant rocks with these crystals that really help the stage feel magical. The reignited version steps it up by having a better skybox and more vibrant gems. You must fly through the ever-iconic rings, destroy the treasure chests, fly through the arches, and light the lanterns. As long as you follow the objects as you see them, it should be pretty easy. Again, not much to say about Night Flight's music. I will say, I do love the bassline, and I love how this song starts. I don't know, I feel like I don't need to say much because I showed the comparisons anyway. Well, whatever, here they are. And with that, we are 1/3 done with Spyro the Dragon. It's been quite a ride and fucking long time to make every single video, every part of these videos. It's annoying, but I love it, and it's been fun and shit. If you notice, the motion blur is turned off because of the recent patch. That's why some of the footage might look different than the first part, because they decided to patch it when I was fucking expecting it. Other than that, I'll see you in like 2 weeks to a month when the next one comes out. Bye.